Hello, everyone. Welcome to our pre-arrival briefing by Montfort University, Leicester. The briefing is basically for all the international students who are joining us for September 2025, our main intake. I'll give it a minute or two for anybody who is still joining, so please bear with us. Thank you so much for anybody who has already joined. We are just waiting for others to join. We will start the session in a minute. So once again, welcome anybody who has joined the session. So this session is basically for international students joining the Montfort University Leicester for September 2025. I would like to welcome everybody on this session, and we're very much looking forward to welcome you on campus as well. So I will just share the agenda of the day now. So we are going to cover international student support, very first part of this session. And after that, we will go through the registration process and visa and compliance process for all the international students. In the end, we will have question and answer session. Anybody who has the question, please leave it in the comments and we will answer them in the end of the session. So we have a very much expert team for each and every section today with us. I would invite Ella Ward for international student support to present for this section.
Hi everyone, my name's Ella. I'm part of the International Student Support Team here at DMU, and our role is to provide advice and guidance to international students on living and studying in the UK. So when you first arrive at DMU, we provide an orientation programme called International Welcome Week. This runs from the 16th until the 19th of September, and it includes information sessions on essential topics such as accessing healthcare, faith services, and well-being. And we also provide campus tours and city tours to familiarise you with the local area. Alongside information sessions, we will host some fun social events too, including karaoke, 10-pin bowling, and a day trip to Oxford. And these social events are a great way to meet new people and make friends before teaching begins. So please book your place if you can to get involved with that. And to help you arrive in time for International Welcome Week, we're offering a free airport pickup service from London Heathrow on Monday, the 15th of September. And you can book that with the QR code in the top right hand if you're watching this on your laptop. If you're not arriving on the 15th, there's also other transport options that you can take, and you can have a look at those using the QR code towards the bottom of the page. If you're watching this on a mobile phone and you can't scan the QR codes, all of the information I'm providing will be on our website, on the DMU website in International Student Support. So my team, you might meet us in the arrival period for International Welcome Week, but we're not just here for the arrival period. We're here to help you throughout your time at DMU. So if you ever need advice or support, you can email us, you can book a one-to-one appointment with us, or you can use our online resources. And the International Student Guide, which there's a QR code for in the top right-hand corner, is a really important resource. It provides detailed information on everything that I'm covering today. So please read that if you have time. And again, if you can't scan the QR code, just visit our website. The link is on the screen right now next to the computer icon, and you'll be able to find the student guide via that link. We're actually in the process of updating the student guide. So currently, last year's version is on the website, but by the end of this week, we'll have the new version. But lots of the information is quite similar. Alongside advice, we provide social opportunities, and we have a regular on-campus event called Global Social, where we provide free activities. You can meet other international students. So please follow us on Instagram for updates or just to take a look at pictures from previous events. Our Instagram handle is on the screen, DMUISS. And finally, my team helps international students to explore other cities and destinations in the UK outside of Leicester through our Explore UK day trip programme. And we've previously taken trips to cities including London, Manchester, Liverpool, Oxford, and Brighton. So it's a very popular scheme. Okay, so that's an introduction to my team, but I'm now going to give you some quick advice on how to prepare for your arrival at DMU. So firstly, you'll need to make sure you have arranged your accommodation. And before you arrive, it's really important to make sure you have a place to stay right from the first day that you arrive in Leicester, because if you arrive and you don't have accommodation pre-booked, you'll probably have to go and stay in a hotel that you can find nearby. So please make sure that you pre-arrange your accommodation. And I've listed on the right-hand side some websites that you can take a look at to find DMU accommodation. Please remember when you're picking your accommodation that you need to live within 40 miles of the university. And also remember that if you plan on arriving late at night or in the evening, you need to contact your accommodation provider to let them know what time you'll be arriving, because it might be the case that no one's available to let you into the building. So you may have to either arrange a hotel to stay in or ask your provider if there's a way of you accessing the building out of hours. Secondly, you need to plan your budget. So we recommend, and the British Council recommends, that it will probably cost around £1,300 per month for living expenses in the UK. This varies a lot based on your personal lifestyle, but that is the average amount. So when you arrive in the UK, we also recommend to have at least £1,000 as soon as you arrive in case there's any unexpected costs that you need to pay for. Maybe it's a hotel for your first night, but on a monthly basis, you should have at least £1,300 to spend on rent, on food, on clothes. This isn't including your tuition fees, this is just living expenses. And before coming to the UK, you might like to arrange a prepaid currency card or a multinational bank account in your home country, because once you arrive in the UK, you might find that you can't open a bank account straight away, because usually you're required to register on your course before opening a bank account. So it's a good idea before you leave your home country to make sure you can access money when you're in the UK. But we don't recommend using a large amount of cash to do this, because unfortunately theft does happen. It's not the most secure way to carry your money. So please choose the option of a prepaid currency card or multinational bank. And finally, you need to pack your bags. Please remember that in the UK, the weather can be very changeable. For example, this morning there was a lot of rain, but now the rain's kind of stopped. The sun came out for a few minutes, but before we know it, it could be raining again. So honestly, you never know what the weather's going to be like. So just make sure you bring clothes that can meet any weather in the UK. But to avoid bringing too much luggage, we would advise buying large items in the UK once you've arrived. For example, bedding or kitchen items. You can get these fairly cheaply and easily in Leicester. Okay, so a few steps of things to do when you arrive. The first thing I would recommend is to attend International Welcome Week because, as I mentioned at the start of the presentation, it's full of important information and fun activities. But if you can't attend Welcome Week, we do have a few activities and opportunities you can get involved in instead. So first of all, the Welcome Festival will be continuing from 19th of September onwards. So there'll be different fairs you can attend. It'll be a chance to meet staff and other students. My team will also be hosting orientation presentations alongside your faculties in weeks 0 to 2. So there'll be an opportunity, you'll hear from your faculty when those are happening, and it'll be an opportunity to meet us in person and hear more about living in the UK. If you want to get involved in social events, there'll be lots of opportunities for that. So De Montfort Students' Union can be a good place to start, but the iBuddies program is also a really great way of making friends. So iBuddies is an international befriending scheme that's run by my team, International Student Support. We get an application for you where you detail your hobbies and activities you like to do and your personality, and then we match you with other students and we provide lots of fun events that you can get involved with. So iBuddies, the applications aren't open yet because you need to register as a student to formally apply, but you can sign up to our mailing list to be notified when applications do open. Hopefully there'll be a link for you to follow to find out more information about iBuddies. Next, when you arrive, a really important step is registering with a doctor. By paying the immigration health surcharge, you have access to the UK's National Health Service, or NHS, and it's our publicly funded healthcare system where you can get free healthcare, whether that's visiting a GP or a general practitioner. This is the name we give to family doctors who help with a wide range of illnesses, or whether it's visiting a hospital for specialist care. There's a lot of services you will be able to access for free. But the GP or the general practitioner is the main point of contact that you will have in the NHS, and you can only visit them if you've registered with a surgery. So please do that as soon as you arrive. We have a GP surgery on campus. It's called De Montfort Surgery, and that can be a great place to register if you live nearby. But always pick the place closest to your home address. And if you have a look on the right of the slide, I've put a link to the NHS Find a GP webpage where you can put in your postcode and find the closest GP surgery to you. And by registering with them, you'll be able to access their services. And finally, opening a bank account. So as I said, you probably won't be able to open a bank account until you've registered as a student, because alongside your passport and your proof of address, you will need a bank letter in most circumstances. And this is a letter that you will download from your DMU student app, which is called My DMU, but you'll need to be registered before you can access the app. And please be aware when you have your bank account and you're managing your money in the UK, that just like every other country in the world, fraud and scams do happen in the UK. So please be vigilant about this. A common scam is where someone will ring you and pretend to be from the Home Office and tell you that you need to pay a fine or some kind of fee. But just be aware that the Home Office will not ring you to ask for money. We hope you're really excited about coming to DMU and living in Leicester. We know most of our students have an amazing time here with us. But I did just want to mention that if you are feeling a bit nervous, or when you arrive, you have some feelings of homesickness or culture shock, this is completely normal. Most students who arrive in the UK will be very excited, and your mood might be carried by the adrenaline of arriving and settling in, but it's very normal to feel a sense of a little bit of disorientation once you've been here for a few weeks, or maybe to miss home and to miss your home culture, but this is completely normal. We have some tips on how to make yourself feel better if you do experience this. Number one is to find familiar food. Luckily, Leicester is a very diverse city, so we have loads of international food stores, so you can get ingredients from home and cook your favourite things. We'd also recommend joining as many societies and social events as you can to meet new students. And DSU, that word on the screen, stands for De Montfort Students' Union, which is a student-led organisation that hosts loads of social events and student groups, some of which are based on nationality. For example, so you might be able to meet students from your home country as well. Thirdly, we'd recommend getting active and going outdoors, because that always makes you feel better. But finally, just give yourself some time. Unfortunately, it's a very normal feeling to have a bit of homesickness or a bit of apprehension about coming to a new country. But as any student at DMU will tell you, it's worth it. You'll settle in and you'll have the best time with us here. There's just our contact details in case you have any questions about anything I've raised today. But we look forward to welcoming you, and we hope to see you during International Welcome Week.
Hi everyone, so I'm Mark Coates. I am the International Student Service Manager. I'm the UKVI key contact for the university, and I'll talk to you a few points around international registration, what you need to provide for that, as well as some points around protecting immigration status in the United Kingdom. So to complete registration, there are two parts to it. One is online pre-registration. A key part of that is providing particular data that we as a university have to report back to education statistic agencies in the UK, such as HESA, around your educational background or your parents' educational background, your nationality, all stuff like that. But also need to know about your term time address, so where you plan to live. I appreciate that some of you may have not already booked your accommodation for your travel, or maybe in the process of finalising it, or may need to be in the UK to sign a contract. So when you're completing that, we need to know where you're temporarily living. We still ideally have that in the local area to the university. We acknowledge that some of you may have friends and family across the UK that may be slightly further afield, but by the time teaching starts and during that welcome week, and also to make certain you get the best opportunities and access to all the support of the university, if you need to be living in that kind of 40-mile radius. So complete online pre-registration. The next part within that is to pay your tuition fees. So some of you already paid your tuition fees before a CAS has been issued to you, or some already, but to complete registration, you need to, if you're a DMU student, so coming to do a De Montfort University degree from the outset, you need to pay 50% of your year's tuition fees to the university. If you're coming via DMUIC, so our international college, whereby you do a pre-degree program, that'd be a pre-masters or pre-undergraduate or a standalone foundation course, you pay the full 100% of your fees. Next part of that is that you book and attend an international registration appointment, and I'll come on to how you book those in a second. But at that appointment, we'll take a few key documents from you, so make certain you bring them with you to your appointment, but also keep them when you travel to the UK. So you need to bring your passport, that's the original, so we need to see your ID page, your e-visa, your share code. So the Home Office have moved to digital visas. So you won't get a sticker called a vignette in your passport or a physical card. All visas in the UK now are digital. You'll have got that set up through your UKVI account when you applied for your student visa. So if you had an agent or someone help you with that application, then you need to make certain you've got access to that online account, because that is your account. In there's a nice button at the bottom that says how to generate a share code. So we need that, and we have to verify that with the Home Office system electronically. There's no bulk data, it's all one by one. And we also need your entry stamp or flight boarding pass. So we need to register what day you came into the UK. We have to have that on record. It also is a requirement for post-study work, the graduate route at a later point. So the registration appointment, how that works, it's only through online appointments only. So once you've paid that 50% or 100% of your fees, and that's been received by the university or DMUIC, and you've completed pre-registration, you'll be sent an email about how to book an appointment slot. That will be an appointment slot for you to come and see us in person in our Leicester campus or our London campus to be able to provide the documentation I've just said. So your passport, your share code, and we need to know your entry details to the UK. We'll also check at the time your term time address and contact details. So if you've moved since your first address you gave to us on your pre-registration, then we need to make certain that address is correct. If we do not want any overseas addresses in that term time address because you're living in the UK. So we need to know where you are. And when you complete the registration, you'll be able to collect your student ID card. Okay, so let's move on to some points about how to protect your visa. So the main thing here is to engage with degree course. You're here to study, you're here to enjoy yourselves and actively participate in that. So that means turning up to lectures, seminars, your lab-based sessions, and supposed your coursework on time and passing your assessments. So the minimum attendance at the university is 80%. Some courses are higher because of external regulatory requirements. Pharmacy, for arguments, are a higher one there. And if you don't attend, your visa will eventually be cancelled. There's an escalation process about understanding why you can't attend, but ultimately that threshold is there. And if you don't meet it, we are duty bound to, unfortunately, deregister you from the university. I don't want to get to that stage, but that means that your visa will be cancelled. We also recommend that you enrol on the free academic support session. So this is run by our excellent English Language Centre. This is designed to help you with your academic assessments. It's not about questioning your ability with English because you've got that from your CAS, you've got that from your mission. It's all about academic writing skills. It's all about how you can give the best representation of your academic ability and get those higher marks. It can turn a 2-2 into a 2-1 if you're undergraduate, or it could turn someone from a master's pass into a merit or distinction. They've got bookable one-to-one sessions. And it also helps with things like plagiarism referencing. So we find a lot of students, if they haven't done UK education before, may not be, and this is domestic students, not just international students, au fait with actually the referencing system that universities use. The other thing we find students sometimes trip up on is that they don't pay the tuition fees on time or agree to payment plans with the income office. So payment plans are only agreed once the students pay that 50% mark, which most of you would have done for DMU students. And the options are termly or monthly, and therefore it makes sense that you stick to the payment plans that you're agreed to, and you can't be late with those payments. If not, unfortunately, again, whilst we accept that certain things can happen and circumstances can change, ultimately, if you don't pay your fees, your visa will be cancelled. And remember that you've provided your financial information to the Home Office with your CAS and visa application. So quite legitimately, we can ask the question of where's the money gone? And we don't mean that in a nasty way. We mean that in an honest way to find out what's happening in your circumstances. The second part of that is also to live within commutable distance to the university. So as Ella's already mentioned, you should be living within 40 miles of the university for a DMU student, or 30 miles for DMUIC. And you can't use that location as a reason for late or non-attendance or non-submission. You know, you are here to be at Leicester, or if you're in London, commuters to the London campus, and to attain your classes. We also make certain that your term time address and contact number are updated in DMU apps. It's one of the apps we expect you to download as a student once you register, and you can update your personal contact details there, because if we need to get in contact with you, we'll probably ring you in the first instance, but we need to make certain that number's correct. We also need to know about any changes in your immigration status. So if, for argument's sake, you get a new passport, or the Home Office contact you and reissue your visa for some reason, email us first about it so we know what's going on. You also understand your visa working restrictions. So there are limits placed upon the working hours that you can do in the UK. We know most students do need to do some part-time work. That's not just international, that's home students as well. Depending upon your course, it's either 10 or 20 hours per week, and that's per week as in Monday to Sunday during term time. Okay, it's not just a rolling 7-day period. The term time is defined by your academic calendar. So when the university shuts, unless it's not term time, but we're talking about teaching time here. Also, there's different types of work, so you can't be self-employed, so you can't be like an Uber or Deliveroo driver and things like that, or take a permanent job or be a professional sports person. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Adam now.
Hello everyone, welcome to DMU. As I say, my name is Adam. I work for DMU's visa advice team. So I've got a few bits I wanted to cover for you that I believe will be of interest to you. And the first thing I want to talk about is the graduate visa route. So you may have heard of this, possibly known as post-study work or PSW. So the graduate visa route is a visa that if you are successful, you successfully complete your course, you could potentially apply for this visa at the end of your course after you are awarded. So if you successfully complete an undergraduate or postgraduate course, you could apply for a visa that will permit you up to 2 years in the UK on this visa route and 3 years for PhDs. It's a really great opportunity for students because it allows you a lot of flexibility in terms of work that you can do on this visa. You can work in more than one job. You can work self-employed. So it's a really great opportunity, and there's no restrictions on the type of work you can do. So it really is an opportunity for those that are coming here on a student visa. Should you wish to work in the UK after this, this is a great opportunity that the Home Office is offering to students. But it's very important that the graduate visa route is not guaranteed, and if you don't meet the eligibility criteria, unfortunately you won't be able to apply for this. It's really important to make you aware of this at this early stage, because sometimes students find out about it later on and then are not aware that some of the things that have happened during their time as a student has had a negative impact upon their eligibility. So the first thing to be aware of is that you must successfully complete your course and complete the course that is stated on your CAS. So if you're studying an MSc in international business, you need to come out with an MSc. If you come out with a lower award, such as a postgraduate certificate, for example, then that might mean that you're not eligible to apply for the graduate visa. If there are any students here that are applying to do a foundation degree or a professional English course, these are not eligible because the minimum level of study you need to have successfully completed is at undergraduate level. But if you're going on to do an undergraduate course or postgraduate course after that course, then you might be able to apply after you've done that. It's also really important that you achieve this award before the visa expires. So having a valid visa at the time you apply for the graduate route is part of the eligibility criteria that the Home Office set. So if your visa runs out before you're awarded, unfortunately, that means that you wouldn't be eligible to apply for it. So this also includes what the Home Office call the wrap-up or post-study period at the end of your course. So usually you get 4 months after your visa expires, by which time hopefully you will have been successfully awarded, and that's when you can then apply for the graduate visa. But if your visa has already expired, including the wrap-up period, before you're awarded, then that would affect your eligibility and mean that you're not able to apply for it. It's a UK-only application as well. So this is the other thing to be aware of, that you can't apply outside of the UK. So the Home Office state this is only to be applied for in the UK with a valid student visa. So you, as it mentioned, you must be able to apply in the UK, and you will need to include your CAS number in the application. So the CAS that you've used to apply for your student visa, that is the number that you would enter into the visa application. So there are sometimes some confusion with students that believe they need a new CAS to apply for the graduate route. That's not the case. You would provide the CAS number you use for your current visa, because that would be what the university would report against to the Home Office to confirm that you've completed the course successfully. It's also important to be aware that there is no guarantee that you will be able to extend your visa to apply for the graduate route. So if you are not able to successfully complete your course and you've got resits, if those resits are not required to be, there's no in-person engagement required, teaching associated with that, it will mean that you can't extend your visa. And again, that might mean that you're not able to apply for the graduate route. It's really, really important, as Mark said, that you remember that the purpose of you being here is to study and do the best that you can on your course, and you need to give the course your full attention. If for any reason you're not able to complete the course on time, and that might be because other things have distracted you, it could mean that your eligibility for the graduate route is negatively impacted. The other thing to mention as well is that the graduate route is not actually it's not sponsored by the university. So unlike your student visa where you needed a CAS and for us to sponsor you for that, the graduate route is between you and the Home Office. So the eligibility criteria is not something that the university has any ability to affect. So ultimately the eligibility is set by the Home Office, and you need to ensure that you meet that criteria to be able to apply for it. But it's important to be aware that the actions you take whilst you're a student can have an impact on your eligibility, as well as we've discussed things such as attendance, so making sure that you are attending your classes, and importantly, you must also not be in debt to the university at the time you're awarded as well, again, because that will have a negative impact on us not being able to inform the UKVI that you've successfully completed your course. I hope this information is useful, and please bear these things in mind when you come here to register. So let's talk a little bit briefly about the immigration compliance team, because you will have contact with them when you come to register for your in-person international registration appointment. You will meet somebody from the immigration compliance team. It's a very useful team that can give you useful guidance on the immigration rules and your responsibilities as a student visa holder. They will be in contact with you at different points. For example, if they require any copies of documents relating to your immigration status, they will be in contact with you. Please make sure you reply to this email. Please do not ignore the email. It's very, very important that you do reply, because that can have an impact on our continued sponsorship of your visa. If you do get any email at any point that you don't understand, please reply to the email and say, I don't understand, please can you explain? And the team will be more than happy to explain to you anything that you're not clear on. If for any reason the university is required to withdraw sponsorship of your visa, the team will also be in contact with you. So it's very important that you read any emails that are sent to you and reply to any emails where they've asked for you to reply. If for any reason you need a new CAS to extend your visa, the immigration compliance team will be involved in that. An example might be if you are able to successfully get a work placement and assess work placement as part of your course, then the team will be involved in issuing you with a CAS for you to be able to extend your visa. Ultimately, this is subject to your eligibility, and your academic faculty will also need to approve this as well. And finally, so I work within the visa advice team, and it's a similar sort of service that we provide to the immigration compliance, but we get more involved with the immigration rules and caseworking, and so we can give you perhaps more specific and bespoke visa advice that you may require from us. So again, we provide general information on the student visa route. We do have a website as well, which will be shared with you in due course, where we have lots of useful information that students may wish to look at about a variety of different things that we believe that students will be interested to know about. We also offer appointments for student visa extensions. So if you are needing to extend your student visa, myself and my colleague Jason are able to help with this via MS Teams. So this is arranged via email, and then an appointment is booked onto MS Teams. We can check sporting documents. We can answer any questions you've got regarding making your application, and we can casework anything that's required. We are restricted to giving advice on the student visa route. However, it is still worth getting in contact with us because we do have information on other visa routes, and we can signpost you to the right information on other visa routes as well. So please do get in contact with us, anything visa related, and we'll do our best to assist with that. So that is our website there. So if you go through onto that web link, you will see there's about 10 or 11 tiles on there, various different bits of information, from things such as applying for your visa, financial documents, supporting documents, inviting friends and family to the UK, the graduate visa routes we've discussed. So there's a lot of really good information. I'd really advise you to take a look at that. And if you do have any particular questions you'd like to ask us via email, but you think of later on, Those are our email addresses there. So immigrationcompliance@dmu.ac.uk and then visaadvice@dmu.ac.uk as well.
Well, thank you so much, Adam, Ella, and Mark, for the wonderful information. I hope that all the students who are watching us got the maximum information that they needed for their process to come to Montfort University. So here on the slide, you can see some useful apps. If you want to take a screenshot, some of them will not be working in your home countries, but worth downloading them on your mobile phone before you come to the UK. And they're very helpful for your communication, to get yourself registered with NHS, and obviously with the UKVI ID check is the most important one that you would want to download. So the next slide, I have some useful key context that would be helpful for yourself if you want to get in touch with the relevant team. I will just leave this slide for a few more seconds if somebody wants to take a screenshot, or else this session is recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel for afterwards as well. So anybody who wants to get in touch with it for the general inquiries, for the international office, for finance, faculties, or visa and registration team, the information is there for you if you want to email them. Please allow a few working days to get back to you for your query before chasing them back. That's all from my side. So we are very much looking forward to welcoming you again at Montfort University, Leicester. We will begin our Q&A session. So I can see some of the questions are already in the chat box. If anybody has a question which was not covered, or you were unable to listen to that question, feel free to drop that in the chat box and we'll be happy to answer that. Right. So I'll begin with the first question. When students will start receiving emails regarding the online registrations, and when they can expect emails regarding the second part of the registration for appointment, Mark?
So students, once they've had their cash, should start automatically receiving their pre-registration online registration emails. And then those students that have paid their tuition fees and complete pre-registration have already been sent a booking information email. So those have been going out this week. So I think the best thing to do to make certain is if you've had your I think about 1,600 reminders went out earlier today. So it could be that make certain the email address we have for you is correct. And how you can do that is by contacting the registration team, and the link and the email address was just above from the previous slide.
Right, thank you. So somebody is asking for registration process. I think that was covered in the presentation quite well. So if you want to review the recording later on, please feel free to do that. The next question is, will the university help me to find part-time job during Welcome Week? So Ella, can you confirm what will be covered exactly in the Welcome Week again?
We do have a lecture during Welcome Week from the careers team, and they'll give you advice on where to find the jobs you're looking for, whether that's part-time work or work after your studies. But yeah, we have a dedicated careers team who can help you with that if you need further support after Welcome Week, if you're struggling to find a job or something like that.
Thank you. So there's a question regarding share code. Do you need to generate a new one or share the previous one that was already sent to the university? So I believe there's only one share code, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, the share codes are valid for 90 days. So the moment you create a share code, it's valid for that amount of time. So you don't have to keep creating them over and over again unless it expires. So once you arrive in the UK, if you've got your share code ready, that should be absolutely fine to show us. It's only if it's expired, then we'll need a new one.
Right. And when is the last day to register online with the university for international students?
So online pre-registration will close the week commencing the 6th of October. We're encouraging all students, teaching starts to be here for the 29th of September at the very latest, but online registration will close in that week commencing the 6th of October.
And very similar question, somebody's asking for the last day to register on campus.
So the very last date is the 10th of October. That's the end of teaching week 2. However, we're encouraging all students to be here by no later than 29th, because you're missing learning in teaching. And whilst we understand that you may have delays and things like that, we'll also check your date of entry to the UK. And if you've been in the UK for a few weeks but then turn up quite late to register, we may ask why and what was the reason for it. And if we're not happy with that, then unfortunately you may have to leave. So it is really important that you come to the UK straight away as soon as you can and come and register with us.
And I have seen few questions relevant to this, Mark. If somebody is arriving after that registration date,
so if you arrive after the 10th of October, we're not going to register you. You're going to go home. I don't mean that in a nasty way. It's just that's the end of teaching week 2. That's our academic regulations. You've missed too much teaching. Everyone has to be complete registration by the 10th of October at the very latest.
Yes, it is advisable not to make any travel plans. Don't book your ticket if you are unable to arrive in time, please. Right, so the next question is it important for them to have the UK address, term time address, before they are traveling to the UK? Is it required for online registration?
So we need an online registration. If you've got your UK address, i.e. where you can temporarily live, because most people will have some form of temporary accommodation that they're traveling to, you can put that in. And then if you've got then a new address after that, we can confirm that when you come to register with us. So, you know, if you're arriving, what my biggest concern is anyone arriving without a plan of where they're going to live. So what we really need to do is, if you haven't got a plan, sort that out first before you travel.
Right. Sorry. So I'll just give you a break, Mark. Back to Ella. Do you have any idea how can students join societies and clubs that universities have on campus?
Mm-hmm. So the best way would be to join.
Right. Seems like we have some connectivity issue here. I'll have to get back to you, Mark, again. So there's one question. Do we have Ella here?
Should you want to do my question? Well, we'll get Ella's internet connection.
Yeah. So someone's asking, is it okay if I stay in Birmingham and still attend the classes in the university?
So the university regulations require students to live within 40 miles of the university, and that's slightly over that period of time. I think the question there would be why you're not studying at a Birmingham university, and I don't mean that in a negative way. You know, Leicester's got great accommodation options, etc. So the expectation from the Home Office is that you should be living in a locale that is close to the university that you're studying at.
Right. And can they expect these kind of questions at immigration check when they arrive here?
Yeah, so when you enter the UK, it's possible they'll ask you where you're living. They'll look at the university and they may just say, actually, no, we're not going to let you into the UK even though you've been granted a visa. So that can happen. That's why we have those regulations in place, but also we encourage students and we talk to them at before the application stage. And if you had an interview with the university, that question's asked, where are you planning to live? And we can look that up. So we often get, and I get phone calls from the Home Office all the time, oh, can I have a look at the video that you have with this student? And we have to share it with them. That's what we're duty bound to do. And if the information that we said of our interview with us doesn't tally up what the student says at the border, then unfortunately it isn't the best outcome for a student. So basically they're looking for consistency in when they approach there.
Right, thank you. So Ella is back. We'll get back to the same question that we were just asking her.
Yeah, sorry about that. So the Montfort Students' Union is the best place to join student groups and get involved in activities. You can join groups based on nationality or just on common interests. But there's other ways to make friends. So, for example, joining sports clubs with DMU Sport, volunteering with different teams such as Sustainable DMU, or attending events such as Global Social, which is hosted by me around every 2 weeks or so. So there's lots of opportunities to meet new students and get involved in events. I'd say the biggest tip is to keep an eye on your student email and look at all the events that are coming into your email, because you will get informed of everything that's happening at the university.
Right. So there's another question for you, Ella, regarding the trips. for international students. How does it arrange? Do students need to arrange their own commute for that?
So we provide a coach where we take everyone together to the trip. The coach sets off from near DMU, and then we take everyone back to DMU at the end of the day. We sometimes provide guided tours, but it depends on the trip. So when you book a trip, you just have to read the description and see whether we're offering a guided tour or not. For the Oxford trip, we're not offering a guided tour, but we do give out information leaflets with a suggested self-guided tour that you can take. And it can be a good way to meet new students. All the students going on the Oxford trip will be brand new students. So people will be looking to make new friends and meet new people. So hopefully you'll be able to visit Oxford and go around with them.
Just a follow-up question for that. Do they need to pay anything for this trip?
I can't remember. I think there's a small fee for the Oxford trip, around £9, which is our discounted rate. So normally our trips cost around £26 or £28. But for the Welcome Week, we're offering a much lower cost than usual because we want our new students to be able to join and to enjoy the day. And bookings are now open for the trip, so make sure you sign up for Welcome Week and you'll receive a link to book your place on the Oxford trip.
Right, £9 is really economical. I wish you could take staff members with you as well. Right, so a questions here about the timetable. Once you register yourself completely with Montfort University, you will have the access to the student portal and you will be able to see your timetable and the schedule for the classes. If anybody wants to add to that.
I think for any academic queries that you have during your time at the university, you'll have a dedicated student advice centre, and those staff will know everything about your course, your timetable, so you can contact them whenever you need to, whether that's in person, email or phone.
And some queries around CAS. Unfortunately, we will not be able to check your CAS status or anything in this session. You will need to reach out to your original teams for that. So I've shared the details already. If you were unable to note them down, go to the International Office page on the Montfort University website and reach out to your relevant regional team. They will be able to update you regarding your CAS status or whatever they need and when you can expect your CAS. So another question for you, Ella. If somebody's missed the Welcome Week and they are arriving late, how can they make themselves, comfortable by settling down into the university?
We will be recording as many sessions as possible, and they'll be able to watch those sessions on demand. We won't be live streaming the sessions, but you'll be able to watch them in your own time after they've happened. You'll also be able to use our resources. Like I said, the International Student Guide is a really important resource, and our website is another one. Even our Instagram, which is DMU ISS, and ISS stands for International Student Support, can be a really useful place to find information. If you have a look at the highlights in our bio, there's lots of tips on healthcare and working in the UK, things like that. You can also attend the faculty orientation sessions that will be held during term time. So during weeks 1 and 2, your faculty will, when you've got your timetable, it should be on your timetable, an orientation session where we'll give you key information on things like healthcare and working.
Right, so there's another question regarding the graduate route. So the student's asking about the point that you have to be in the UK for the entire duration of the course. Does that mean they cannot leave the country for holidays or anything? Adam, would you want to answer?
So that relates to a particular point within the graduate route policy guidance, where it states that your course should be in the UK, which means obviously you'd need to be studying 100% of the course within the UK usually. apart from a Peru study abroad. So it's probably unlikely to be an impact. So it doesn't mean you can't travel outside of the country. Obviously, the course you're studying with us, your CAS has been issued for you to do a course within the UK. So it wouldn't impact if you want to go back to your home country at some point outside of term time. That would be fine.
Thank you. So there are many questions around the last date for registration. I think we've covered that before. You need to be in the UK and complete your registration by 10th of October. Anyone who cannot complete their registration before 10th of October, please get in touch with admission for the guidance on the next process. So there is another question. Somebody's saying that they are international student, but they're on their account, they are shown as home students. You need to reach out to your regional team or admission as soon as possible to get that settled. How to enroll for the Oxford trip, Ella?
So you'll need to sign up for International Welcome Week. If you go on our website, you'll be able to do that. And once you've signed up for Welcome Week, we'll send an email within the next 1 to 3 days with information how you can sign up.
Right, so there's another question. Someone has made a mistake while booking pre-registration of the MU. I pick yes rather than no in criminal section. How to deal with that now?
That will have to go through admissions. So actually, somebody within the admissions team will need to look at that. So if you've not already got in contact with the admissions team, please do so, because that's going to have an impact on your registration if it's not resolved.
Thank you, Adam. Right. So a question to you, Ella. Can students get any medical support for their mental health on campus? Right, I think we've lost her again. But yes, we do have mental health support service available on campus. Just reach out to International Student Support Service. They've given the email address to you. Reach out to them, and then they will be able to guide you further what support is available and how they can support you best. A few questions regarding sports club. Yes, we do have a sports club on campus. So if you visit Student Union, Montfort University on our website, there's a list of societies and clubs that we have on campus, and you can join any of the societies and clubs as per your interest. There's a question regarding accommodation. So someone has booked the accommodation till December. How to change accommodation? Is it on-campus accommodation? If it is on-campus accommodation, our team can help you with that. Just reach out to accommodation team. It's accommodation@dmu.ac.uk. If it's an off-campus accommodation, you will have to reach out to your landlord for that, and then they will sort it out for you. Right. A question for you, Dan. Can you pick this up, please? So someone wants to do some information on DMU Global, and how can they get in touch for DMU Global? Is that right?
Yes, DMU Global is something that DMU offers to all students. So we offer trips to various places in the world. Everywhere in the world we've probably been to, other than maybe Antarctica. But as part of your course, you will have enhancement weeks in the first semester and also in the second semester as well. So you have a week where your course will organize a trip overseas, and as part of that trip you will have academic activity, but also social activity as well. So whether you want to go into Europe or America or Asia, there'll be lots of options available. And also, if you join a society or a sports team, then you will also have the opportunity to go on a DMU Global trip as part of that as well. The DMU will offer bursaries towards that as well. So you will get a discount towards the flights and accommodation of that trip to make sure that the opportunity is available to everyone. And I've just seen a question around sports clubs. So at DMU, we have lots of sports clubs available, ranging from football, netball, rowing, swimming. On campus, we have a big leisure centre with a fully stocked gym. And that gym offers a big discount for students, and it's within 2 to 5 minutes walk of most of the accommodation on campus. And then the sports clubs every Wednesday will play a match against other universities in the local region. So what I recommend doing is having a look on the Montfort Students' Union website, and it will list all of the sports clubs. And then during the Welcome Week, there is a fair on campus, and all of the sports teams will present to you and tell you about how you can sign up and join them. And then throughout the year, you can join the training, join the matches as well. But I do really recommend joining a sports club. It's a great way to make friends, stay fit whilst you're studying, and you'll have lots of time during your week where you can take part.
Thank you so much, Dan. That was really informative. One last question around the fee installment plan. So you must pay 50% of deposit at the time of registration, and the remaining fees can be paid in 2 installments. For September intake, the first installment would be by the end of November, and the second would be end of January. This information is also available on the website. If you go to the international tuition fees on the Montfort University website, you will be able to see that. Does anybody need to add any further information from other presenters? Right, so I'll just wrap up now. Thank you so much, everyone who's joined the session. Thank you so much who has presented really well and helped with the question and answer session as well. So we shared the contact details throughout the presentation and the session. If anybody has any questions left that weren't unanswered, please feel free to reach out to the relevant teams, and we will be happy to answer that. Thank you so much once again for joining this session. Have a nice day.